If you're someone who hasn't really paid attention to Lauri Markkanen's game prior to this season, or if you're someone who's only heard about what he did during his time with the Chicago Bulls, chances are, despite him having an all-star caliber year this 2023 season, you still might be expecting Markkanen to hit some sort of mid-season slump, or maybe you might be waiting for reality to remind him how he has never really displayed the potential to become a number one option during his first few NBA seasons. But if you're one of those people, it appears that now is the right time to stop doubting him, because right now, Lauri Markkanen has still been so dominant and so consistent even with half of the season already gone. After playing 47 games for the Utah Jazz, he's putting up all-star caliber and elite numbers, averaging almost 25 points and more than 8 rebounds per game, while shooting 52% from the field, 43.2% from the three-point line, and 87% from the foul line. Markkanen is currently averaging career highs in just about every statistical category, and he's basically just a few free throw percentage points away from averaging 50, 40, and 90% shooting splits, and he's doing all these as his team's number one option. Well, for sure, there would still be doubters who would argue that perhaps Markkanen's just putting up empty stats on the Utah Jazz team that's not even expected to maintain long-term success with him as the team's best player. But in this video, we'll look into what's behind the crazy kind of season that Lauri Markkanen's having and why he could really end up as a long-term building block for the Utah Jazz. So what's good everyone, it's Real Balls here, but one sec, if you guys do enjoy this video, please do me a favor by hitting that like button. It only takes a second of your time, but it will be much appreciated. So let's get to it. First of all, Lauri Markkanen is currently leading the Utah Jazz into playoff contention despite the team being universally considered as potential leaders of the Victor Wembanyama sweepstakes before the season began. If the regular season ended today, Utah would be qualifying for the play-in tournament as they currently hold the 10th seed in the Western Conference, with Markkanen as the team's best overall player. That itself shows the legitimate impact that he brings to this Utah Jazz team, which impact becomes even more apparent when you look into the analytics. As this season, Utah is outscoring opponents by 6.4 points per 100 possessions with Markkanen on the floor. Such real plus-minus impact actually ranks as the 11th best in the entire NBA, even ranking slightly ahead of bona fide NBA superstars such as Kyrie Irving, James Harden, and Stephen Curry on the list. So overall, when measuring things using both team success and analytics-based impact, we can already conclude that Lauri Markkanen is indeed one of the best players around the NBA this season, who's also deserving of his first All-Star appearance. But the next question is, how is Markkanen achieving all of these? Well, I think the main reason is simple. Markkanen has just been knocking down shots like a Hall of Fame type of player this season. Cause if you look at the list of players this season who have attempted at least 500 shots, and if you rank all those guys based on effective field goal percentage, which is a metric that accounts for both 2-point and 3-point field goal efficiency, you would actually find Lauri Markkanen tied for third place, only ranking behind Nikola Jokic and Domantas Sabonis, while also ranking slightly ahead of Steph Curry and Kevin Durant. That's definitely not a bad list to be in, especially for someone like Markkanen, who wasn't even viewed as a potential all-star prior to arriving in Utah. So now, let's dive a little deeper to understand how Markkanen's managing to become so unstoppable right now. Well, first, everything starts from the threat of his three-point shot. He's been shooting 40% from deep for the second time over the past 3 seasons and has been so deadly, especially off the catch. As among all 22 players who have attempted at least 5 catch-and-shoot threes per game this season, Lauri's 44.2% mark ranks as the second best in the entire NBA. Well, Lauri's always been a catch-and-shoot threat for practically his entire career, but as part of this Utah Jazz system which employs multiple drive-and-dish type of ball handlers, you gotta love that he's not just standing in the corners waiting for his teammates to find him. As this season, Lauri's actually been very active as a movement shooter who's constantly trying to relocate to the right spots where he could receive the ball and where he could easily launch his outside shots, whether it be coming off pin-down screens or pick-and-pops. And the good thing is, he's been so effective doing so, as Lauri's currently producing 1.37 points per possession out of catch-and-shoot relocation plays, which ranks in the 94th percentile of the entire NBA. Just like here, you can see Jared Vanderbilt initiating the half-court offense, then on the weak side, you can see Markkanen standing on the corners. But watch how Agbaji pins down Lauri's defender to give him time to relocate. Batum tries tries to catch up, but Lauri's already got the ball just in time to launch the catch-and-shoot three-pointer. Then right here, you see Utah running a pick-and-pop play on the side. Markkanen initiates the handoff before popping out to the three-point line. Then Malik Beasley makes the quick pass as Lauri takes advantage of another late closeout as he drains the outside shot with a hand on his face. Well, obviously, leaving Markkanen even with just a tiny bit of daylight almost guarantees an easy three-point basket for him. The problem for opposing teams is, when they make the mistake of switching those screen actions while leaving the smaller guy to defend him, Markkanen can always mash those smaller and quicker players by taking them all the way to the paint. So far, Lauri's just been able to stay increasingly aggressive in terms of using his size advantage when dealing with mismatches, particularly by taking his defenders to the post. As this season, Markkanen has produced 1.2 points per possession out of post-up plays, which actually ranks as the 10th best mark among all 83 players who have posted up at least 20 times this season. Right here, you see Lauri trying to establish post position against Keegan Murray. Lauri uses some jabs to size up his defender, then just watch how he uses his size to easily rise up for the 10-foot floater right above Murray. Then right here, with PJ Tucker defending him, Lauri sets a screen for Mike Conley, but he knows that the smaller Kevin Porter Jr. is gonna switch, so he spins and rolls to the paint before easily finishing against Alperen Şengün underneath. But it's not only the size advantage that's been working wonders for Markkanen. His post game has been solid, but I think he's even better when facing the basket. After all, Markkanen is a 7-foot forward with the ball skills of a guard. He can put the ball on the floor and he's got a variety of moves that he can use against any type of defender that you put in front of him. He's very capable of powering through smaller players and is also able to finesse his way against bigger centers. The numbers also display how reliable of a shot creator he is during those situations, as Markkanen's actually producing 1.4 points per possession out of isolation plays this season, which actually ranks number 1 in the entire league among all 69 players who've recorded at least 60 isolations this season. Here, you see Lauri receiving the pass from behind the arc with Jusuf Nurkic in front of him. He uses his stutter step as he puts his head down while attacking the paint. Then just watch how he takes off of 1 foot to avoid getting his shot blocked in the interior. Then right here, Lauri's defended by the much quicker Jaden Ivey. You see him attacking with a quick crossover. He gets bumped by Ivey, but watch him with a quick snatch back dribble as he torches his man with the easy step back jumper. Then here in semi-transition, you see Lauri with the up fake against John Collins. He attacks the lane, and while Collins is able to stay with him, he goes for the Euro step, takes contact, and still finishes the shot even while out of balance. Well, overall, looking at a breakdown of Markkanen's shot profile this season, you could also see that he's actually finishing just about every type of shot that he takes at an elite level. Here, you could see the top 6 most common types of shots that Lauri's taken this season, including the average points per possession that he produces out of every particular shot type. And as it turns out, on average, the Utah Jazz scores 1.45 points per possession every time Markkanen takes those shots. And to put that into context, the Sacramento Kings, who currently have the NBA's best offense, are scoring 1.18 points per possession. But as suggested by the stats, when Markkanen shoots in almost any way, the Utah Jazz offense produces points at a significantly higher rate than the league's best offensive team. This is the kind of impact that Lauri Markkanen has brought to the Utah Jazz this season. Defenses are having a hard time containing him because he can do damage off the ball by being an efficient catch-and-shoot guy or a cutter around the basket, but he's also a capable shot creator who's able to score efficiently by way of driving attacks or step-back jumpers. But what's even scarier for opposing teams is the fact that Markkanen has also been grinding on the defensive end this season. Well, Lauri's always been capable of defending centers in the paint with his size and natural instincts. But the thing is, it seems like playing as a small forward with the Cavs last year has definitely helped him learn how to slide his feet when guarding smaller players in space, particularly in switches. There's just some added mobility in the way he moves, and he's just increasingly able to recognize where he needs to be in every defensive possession. Right here, you see Dennis Smith Jr. defended by Colin Sexton near the logo. Then here comes Markkanen acting as the drop big defender off the high screen. He's forced to switch against Smith, but watch how mobile he is going sideways before using his length to eventually block the shot right on top of the basket. Then here you see Ja Morant trying to attack off the pick and roll. Morant uses his speed to blow past Mike Conley, but you can see how Markkanen cuts him off and how he turns his hip to be able to totally deny Morant's floater attempt. Overall, Markkanen's defensive impact has definitely been felt by the Utah Jazz this season, as Utah's opponents are scoring 6 less points per 100 possessions whenever Markkanen is on the floor, which defensive impact actually ranks in the 90th percentile of the entire NBA. Well, at the end of the day, Markkanen always had the size, the talent, and the skill, but the difference is this season, those things have all come together with opportunity, health, and experience in order to produce a monster season for Lauri. This is why, despite being viewed by a lot of people as simply a trade piece from the Donovan Mitchell deal, Lauri Markkanen has managed to establish himself as a legitimate building block for this Utah Jazz franchise moving forward. So thank you guys if you made it this far into the video, but let me ask you, are you actually sold on Lauri Markkanen being a long-time franchise player for the Utah Jazz? Feel free to share your thoughts in the comment section below, and again, if you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing as well. Again, this is Real Balls, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.